the non-belief in yourself will make or break you. And often the difference between someone who is successful and someone who isn't is that's it. It's just they believed they could do it.
Did you push record?
Thanks for tuning back into Second Act TV. Carla Rieger is here for one more segment talking about reinventing life after 50, finding your purpose and passion and putting it into action. In her words, she helps you turn your wisdom into wealth. Carla, thanks so much for joining us again.
Thanks for having me again.
Well, we will link to our two previous segments where we discussed how to really discover what it is that you have, that you can bring out in the world that you may not even be aware of, and then overcoming the fear of actually going out and doing it. Some approaches, some simple steps, some awareness you really want to have around that concept. Today, Carla, I want to talk about confidence. Because if you don't think you can do it, you're probably not going to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I would go so far to say as, in addition to the fear of failure, the non-belief in yourself will make or break you. And often the difference between someone who is successful and someone who isn't is that's it. It's just they believed they could do it. And therefore that generated the confidence. So the thought generated the feeling of confidence, which then generated the actions that they would need to take, which generated the result. So you understand that sequence, that's really important. So what you initially think is the core and the root. And if you can work on that, the confidence naturally flows. But a lot of people go, well, how do I believe something if I don't?
Right, exactly.
If you lack belief, if you doubt yourself, normal. It's normal. Don't beat yourself up. It's okay. It's you haven't seen yourself do it. You don't have evidence in your past. But the difference between people, again, who are successful and who aren't, is that they will believe without doubt. And they will, I think there's a phrase, be a light unto yourself, even though the world is not reflecting back to you that that's possible. The true mastery, I believe, of life itself, not just in business or relationships, is to do that, right? Is to be the creator of your own life, is to imagine what you want and hold to that vision, even though it's not just going to happen to you right away. I mean, some things do happen right away, but the majority of things that are really worth it, it's not going to happen right away, right? You're going to be tested, right? And that's, yeah, like you say, I'm going to do this. And then you go out there and you fail. Okay. And then I'll try it again and you fail. And then, okay, I'm going to try it again. And most people, they fail the first time, they go, okay, I guess I wasn't meant to do it. Mm-hmm. And then they just retreat. And some people, they'll try again and then they'll fail. But the people, anyone who you see around you who's successful, chances are they've let themselves fail like 25, 50 times until they got it. And that's the only difference I just find with all my clients. That's the only difference. And sometimes the people who are even more talented and more brilliant and could be massively successful are not, just because they gave up.
Right. Exactly. Well, so what are some tips on building that confidence, something that people can apply as they listen today?
Yeah, well, some regular reminder about your vision. So one thing we do is we have these things called blueprints, and I'll put a link in the show notes to a free book we have called Mind Story Inner Coach. And when you get the book, you get these little audios that go with the book. And what they do is they prompt you, and they're like 10 minutes or whatever, and they prompt you to just keep focused on your vision. Keep focused on your vision. Keep focused on your vision. Because here's what most people do. Like, it's New Year's and they set a resolution for the year. And on January 1st, they think about it. And then they never think about it again. for the rest of the year. And then it's no wonder the weeds grow back in the garden and you just don't work on your goal. And then you look at it again the next year and you go, oh man, I just didn't do anything towards that goal. Right. So this is a little tool. They call it mental rehearsal. Professional athletes do it all the time where, they have those coaches that go, okay, imagine yourself, sinking the basket, getting the hole in one, getting the hole in one. And they'll sit there for hours, like seeing themselves get the hole in one, get the hole in one, get the hole in one. And the people who rehearse in their mind, as well as rehearse it on the field, had like 100%, or 50% more success than the people who just played in the field. So that's what you can do with yourself. If you have some sort of prompt, and that's why we create these little audios to prompt you to keep thinking about your vision and not just thinking about it, like seeing yourself there, like outside yourself doing it. Mm-hmm. What really helps is to be inside your own body, looking out through your own eyes. So whatever's your goal. So you see yourself as a coach, for example, making $10,000 a month, and you're living in Thailand or wherever you'd like to live to do this. And there you are, and you see your bank account and you see how much money you brought in for the year, and you see and you feel yourself like talking to people online and making a big difference for them. So you put yourself there in the moment like it's happening right now, because the creative mind doesn't actually, it lives out of timelines. It doesn't realize that's the future. And so we'll start to create your life. It's like it creates it shortens the gap between where you are and where you want to go, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's like another way to manifest, is what you're describing, right?
Yeah, it's a form of manifestation, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. So by doing that, where does your confidence come in? When something happens, or are you saying your confidence just naturally increases by seeing yourself in a successful place?
Yeah, it does. We call it manufacturing confidence. So a lot of people think I can't be confident until I've proven to myself that I can do something, but you can't often do something until you feel confident enough to do it. So it's like putting the cart before the horse, right? You actually have to imagine yourself doing it, jump into your future self. And we often have people do that. You jump into your future self and who has already achieved it. It's the idea that there's many possible timelines in your life, and there is a part of you that has achieved that. And you go into your future self and you become that person. And then you start to change the way you think, which changes your feelings, which changes your actions, which changes your results. And as opposed to what most people do is they just think about themselves in the future failing. And so they see the world, they feel like a failure. And so they act in ways that ensure they will fail.
Really interesting. Super interesting. You did something just really resonated with me when you said manufacturing confidence, because most people need to have done something successful to be caught. That's me. And I know there's millions of others out there just like me. So that, I hope that resonates just the way it did with me just now. And that's why I asked the question, well, so you do this, well, what does it do with your confidence? And you very astutely explained. It doesn't, just the timelines are different. I think that's brilliant.
Well, just imagine that yourself before you started this particular show, and you're just thinking it up in your mind. And part of you, if you could talk to this future self who's already doing it and is successful, she would just tell you, oh yeah, you could totally do it. I did it. It's fine, right? So at some point, you obviously listened to a part of you that said, I haven't done it before, but I can do it. And we all have that, right? We've all obviously been in a position where we were thinking of doing something, we'd never done it before, and we just took a risk on ourselves. We bet on ourselves. So if you can, that's another tool we teach, is called memory management, where you go back to a time in your life where you did bet on yourself, even though you had no proof that it could work, because we've all done it, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
very, very interesting. We're coming to the end of this segment. These go by so fast. It's no wonder you have a podcast. You have a podcast too. We'll link to that. Carla is also, she's written 6 books. She has 20 online learning programs. She has so much wisdom and wealth to offer when it comes to this topic. So we will link to all that. I would like you, if there's anything that I didn't ask you or that you'd like to add to the segment on confidence, I'll let you close out.
yeah, just to know that you can choose to be confident in a moment. Like you could choose to let go of a lack of confidence by the click of a fingers, because we've all done it. So if you just remember a time you did it and you just said, you know what, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to believe in myself. I'm just going to jump in the water and I'm just going to do it. So you've done it before. In another context, you can do it again, is what I'm trying to say.
No, absolutely. And again, easier said than done. We recognize that, but you're absolutely right, because you can in the click of a second, because the other people around you don't know that what you're feeling inside. So it's almost projecting confidence, right?
Yeah. And that's what I do with public speakers. I say, walk on stage and pretend you're someone who's a really confident public
Yeah.
speaker. Just think of someone, and then you act as if, and it changes your brain chemistry, and then you actually feel confident.
No, I love it. Carla, thank you so much for joining us. Great information. Again, Carla specializes in working with clients of our vintage, going into our second part of life and reinventing life. You have lots of great information. We look forward to having you back soon on another episode of Second Act TV.
Thanks for having me. Bye for now.
Please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right over here. Just click on through to YouTube, and when you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too. We'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.